Awkward.
Why is it gonna be awkward?
Oh, you'll see. How's it, everyone, and welcome to what's left of Culture, the podcast. 2/3 of the trio.
When was the actual last one we aired? Because we filmed a few and they never.
I stopped counting.
But when did we actually?
I want to say it's episode 30, I think.
Well, when was the last one that actually we showed?
I want to say it was still summer.
Yeah, no, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
But we filmed a few.
We have been filming.
We've been here.
We have been. We're having some behind the scenes technical difficulties. Absolutely nothing to do with why there's only two of us here today. But while we're on the topic of behind the scenes, turns out Roman can take a joke way too far. So yeah, Jake's around. He's there. We'll bring him back.
Time heals all.
Yeah, he's been talking to Eric apparently a little too much. He's gotten in his head, you know. Sure.
I'm gonna reach out to him.
Eric?
No, Jake.
Oh, Jake.
Unbeknownst to me, there's a lot going on. But
Unbeknownst to you, but you weren't involved.
I was, but
You were fucking super involved.
I
So
I was involved.
yeah. So
you were the one. There was a text I got. Oh, let's see Jake respond now.
No, let's tell the full story because it might go into a fun topic for us. AOC. So you came into the podcast DM talking your AOC shit, right? Trying to provoke some shit.
Yes, kind of. With you.
Yeah, with me, obviously. Yeah.
And you got a little offended. No, not even. You were.
No, I didn't get offended. I was just confused. So I was like, what did you want? Like what?
I wanted to see your reaction.
Yeah, well, like what were you trying to get?
It was something that I could see you agreeing with, and I wanted to see how you responded. It's kind of you had to explain it.
Explain it.
Well,
let's get into it.
This would be a good time to just show the actual thing that
I'll show the clip. Yeah, so we'll put the clip in. Okay. I'll edit in the clip, and then
it was AOC saying how she didn't vote on government spend or the.
Oh, actually, I might not be able to do it because maybe because you sent it to me, but it might be one of her stories, so it might have lapsed already. But yeah, she's basically talking about how she's not voting on the military budget, defense bill, yeah, and just saying that I don't know, I didn't really watch
it was way over what anybody asked for.
Yeah, she's basically saying that military spending is unaccounted for, or
correct.
The accounting is very shady and
it's way overblown.
Way overblown. Too much money being spent. This, that, and that.
And she wasn't voting for it. But
right.
You were like,
you wanted to see my opinion on that.
Correct.
And I was like, I don't understand what the reason for this message is. And then we got into a whole back and forth. So Jake, whenever we get into any political shit, Jake always tunes the fuck out. Right. He's like, "Fuck you guys."
Because it was lengthy. It was back and forth.
Yeah, it was a lot of shit. Yeah. And then he doesn't check his IG that much. And then so Roman and I kind of got into not a heated debate, but we kind of got into this back and forth. And it was just a lot to say over DM or text. So I was like, I just gave him a call and I was like, hey bro, what the fuck are you trying to say? I don't understand what's going on. And then he's like, no, I was just wondering this, that. And we were talking about the hypocrisy of
everybody.
Of spending on military. And then I was like, well, yeah, but there's just as little accountability when it comes to funding projects that are meant to get rid of homeless or our homeless situation or the poverty situation that we have in our country or
green program.
Yeah, the
so
green deal.
There is unaccountability everywhere.
Yeah,
that was his point. But my whole thing was, I understand that, but over here with the defense bill, she is making good points because that is true. Everything she was saying. But nobody's getting all crazy over that. Everybody's like, oh, well, fucking AOC said it, so I'm just kidding. We need defense, so that's something I'm willing to pay for.
We'll get into that, but let's first talk about how it went south with Jake. So then
we had all this back and forth.
So I call him and I'm like, okay, we kind of said we came to an agreement. We understood what we were talking about. And I was like, do you want to just play it up? I don't know if I said it or if
Yeah,
you said it. One of us said
I
it.
did not say. I did not have this idea.
You son of a bitch.
You
Put it all on
you
me.
didn't even say anything when we talked. We talked, and then you like we ended the conversation, and that was it. And then I see a text to me. Let's see if Jake responds now. And I was like, what? And then
I start it?
Yes, you started. You in our group Instagram
I'm
thing,
so bad.
you're like, well, fuck you, Roman. If that's the way you think, screw you. And I was like, what? Yes, I can. I
thought we agreed on
there.
it.
We did not agree on it.
I totally thought we
I was
agreed
not
on
like, oh yeah, that would be a good idea.
Oh shit!
But I did go along with it. I did go along with it.
And then
and so, but like, I went along with it for like, because it was later in the day already, and we had a few like back and forth.
Yeah.
And then I go to sleep.
Jake finally chimed in.
Jake chimed in with you. I like went to sleep,
yeah.
And then you're like, you text me like at 10 p.m. or something, like, hey, do you think we should keep going on with it? And I was, by this time, I'd stopped looking at my phone, so I wake up to like a whole nother. So like you made game time decisions to keep it going.
I did. So the whole like back and forth between Roman and I after like we were like we the phone call was like, fuck you, Roman, you and your fucking communist bitch AOC, blah 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 blah, fuck you both. And then Roman's like, whatever, you and the stupid fucking podcast and blah blah blah. I don't even know why I waste my time. So like Roman had basically like quit the podcast through the DM, and we just let it like unravel. And we were kind of playing like.
And then, up until that point, Jake hadn't seen anything.
Yeah.
Right? And then so Jake probably wakes up and sees this big old.
Sees the last few words like "fuck you," this, that, and the other, and he's like, "Oh, great." He's like, "Now I'm gonna have to read everything that you guys have been saying." So he goes back and he reads it all, and then he tries to even like lighten the mood, and he like says like a joke, and then like that's when I was like, "We're keeping this going." So then I just kept going with it, and then like so Jake thought that we were really like fighting, and then I thought I killed it because I was like, all right, we've had enough fun. So I was like, all right, I'll see you Friday for the podcast. And I thought that was gonna be like the like obvious like we're joking around because he's gonna, and then like Roman was like, cool, 11 blah blah blah, like he agreed to like come to the podcast.
Well, and then me and you talked and said, well, at least this is what I thought.
Yeah.
That because when I woke up and seen you ask me that question, I was like, we should probably end it. Like,
now.
We should stop. And this was going on. And then yeah, so but like I still thought like we're like, okay, we're gonna just stop now because it's getting a little out of hand because it was a little uncomfortable.
It was crazy.
And in my head it was like, all right, you talk to Jake, and because you said Jake's reaching out to me.
Yeah.
What do you think should happen? Like,
well, I think that's where shit went south. So that's where shit. This is where shit really went south with Jake. Was he was reaching out to me as a friend, like, hey, are you good? Like, is everything okay? Like, because I think I said, I was like, fuck it, I don't even want to fucking do the podcast anymore. So like when he's like, okay, if Jose doesn't want to do the podcast anymore, fucking something's wrong. Yeah. So he reaches out to me as a friend and is like, hey, like, are you good? Like, is everything cool? And I was like, yeah, I'm good, man. Just fuck Roman. You know what I mean? I was like, so that was the game time decision I made. I was like, bro, he's texting me right now. Like, I don't know what to say. And then Roman didn't text me back. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to like keep it going. But I was like, no, yeah, I don't even want to do the fucking podcast with Roman anymore. Fuck that guy. And then,
dude, I'm out.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So it got bad. So I think that's where Jake really kind of was like, man, fuck you guys. Like here I'm like trying to be a friend and like I'm like reaching out, and then I agree with him. And I fuck you. You trying to get off scot free here.
How am I getting off scot free?
I definitely I
think you were a little more.
I do that a lot. I do that a lot.
I'm gonna talk to Jake.
I'm a fucking.
No.
I start shitting in DMs. It's pretty well documented.
Not really. I mean,
pretty well documented.
Like, not really though. If it's like an actual conversation.
There was the Swells Bell incident.
Oh, okay.
And then there was the incident with the yardages.
Oh, okay. Well, no, but you instigated that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah. So I mean,
I
that
took
was.
it. I took
I
it
think
thread.
that's banter, though.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a sensitive society nowadays. It's hard to. I think
But if
everyone's
you're
on
gonna
edge
dish something out, and I
and
mean,
be able to take it,
yeah,
right? I think that's. I
that's
think that's where I.
but that's where you and I kind of we're cool. Like
Yeah,
if
we play off of each
I
other.
know if I deliberately go at you first,
Yeah,
you're gonna come back to something.
yeah,
So I don't normally do that,
yeah.
but I will like defend myself.
And I'm gonna go hard. Like I don't like. But it depends. It depends on how serious the situation. If we're talking about like politics or some shit, I don't really give a fuck about.
Yeah.
Like the whole AOC shit, I was like, I don't really fucking care. I was like, I agree that the military
So
funding.
my whole thing was basically to get you to agree with AOC once.
Yeah, that was the bait.
That was what I was trying. I was baiting at you.
Right.
And you know, so
So yeah, so Jake's not here. Bottom line, Jake's not here. Hopefully he's here on the next one. To be fair, I don't think it's. I don't even know if anyone knows that, so I'm gonna go ahead and edit that out. But to be fair, he couldn't be here. So, yeah, that's that. Hopefully he's on the next one. We'll see.
I think
We'll see.
we
We'll
need
see.
to go have a beer. That's all. That's
Yeah.
the like solution to everything.
That's your solution to everything. But you and Brantley are still. By the way, Brantley's still banned. Fuck you.
That's why he avoids going to have a drink with
You think so?
you. Yeah, I think so.
You think he avoids it because he thinks that you guys will be friends afterwards? You guys will be cool, and then there'll be no more banter.
No, I don't think on that level. But he just doesn't. I don't think he wants to get into it because we've had many opportunities. We were actually at a bar one time.
You don't think Brantley wants to get into an argument
Not with. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
or a
I
debate?
mean, it hasn't happened. We were actually at a bar once, and we were like, I was like, all right, let's talk about it. He was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Went to the bathroom and bounced. Like he left. So
What a pussy.
like he had a total opportunity to talk about it, and he went to the bathroom and left.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
You think you got him? You think you got him pinned?
I know.
Because the thing is, here's the thing with, and I don't want to talk about Brantley too long, but the thing is, his main source of entertainment seems like is like every time I see him, it's like, oh, so hey, like, what's Roman's stance on this? And I'm like, I don't fucking know, dude. Fucking ask him. I was like, I could guess for you.
He
And
loves citing you for my ideas.
Yeah.
Like he'll go into our little. We have a little boxing thing.
Yeah.
Go to, and he will cite. Well, Roman thinks this way. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Based off of the conversation I had
No, I
with
talked to
your with your
Jose.
cohort with your
I
co-host.
talked to Jose.
I'm like, what?
Man, we haven't.
What do you-
We've done 2 podcasts in like.
Yeah, and
the
I was
last
like,
6
I haven't.
months.
We haven't gone in like this. Just happened,
Yeah.
and we haven't gone into depth about any
No,
of
but
this.
he'll cite you for.
Yeah, he's
all
like,
my
it'll be
ideas.
like he'll be like, hey, what do you think? What do you think Roman thinks about like Elon on Twitter? And I'm like, I don't know. If I had to guess, like knowing Roman and knowing like how like, you know, liberal his views might be, he might be like, well, yeah, it's kind of hypocritical for him to be, you know, censoring the way he's censoring or doing what he's doing and or whatever the fuck, you know. And so, but I'd be like, that's my take on Roman.
Yeah.
What Roman might think, you know,
Talk to
because
him.
yeah, I was like, but talk to him and fucking find out. He might be like, no, it's fucking, I'm 100% like, yeah, what he's doing is cool. I get it. He's mixing the pot or whatever the fuck. I was like, but I don't fucking know. But then he'll be like, he gets his confirmation bias from like the sound bite that I gave him.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he's fucking like, oh yeah, well, you know, you fucking love AOC and this and that and that. And like, well,
Like
how did you vote on this?
He
How did you vote on this?
fabricated My
Oh,
ideas in
yeah,
his head.
yeah.
And it's like in stone.
And
like,
there's no way you can
convince him otherwise.
otherwise.
Correct.
That's why I stopped. That's why he's banned from the podcast because I can't talk to that. Like I can't
Well,
talk to
to be
someone.
fair, he probably wasn't going to come.
He for sure wasn't going to come on. But even more so now, even if he wanted to,
now.
it's like I'm not going to put that on here because it's just like it's so mind-numbingly fucking aggravating to talk to somebody who just refuses to like listen to what the fuck you're actually saying, and they've already made up in their mind who you are and what you think and what your beliefs are.
Yeah.
And there's no possible way that you're gonna actually like
Think otherwise.
think otherwise. you know.
Yeah.
And then until you do something like drastic, and then they're like, oh shit, Roman got red pilled, and it's like, well, no, he's been like consistently thinking like more conservatively because of X, Y, and Z, but like you saw the process. It's not like all of a sudden it's like he saw one, you know, meme or one fucking reel that was like, oh, that did it for me.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm totally this way.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I try never to be like, I'm totally down this route. I'm totally down blue, you know, Democrat, liberal.
Yeah.
That's my view. You know,
Yeah.
if I'm that person either way, I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, which I feel is most people, but I think people just are so convicted to like specific topics, and that's what keeps them on their like, I'm liberal leaning because of this, or I'm conservative leaning because of this specific. Like I'll die on the hill.
Yeah, I mean, I
when it
think
comes.
people would like to think that though, that they're, oh, you know what, I'm open to both sides, but there's pretty consistent trends with people who vote one way to stick down that same narrative that it's expected of them.
I agree, but what I'm saying is that I think there's one argument that they're willing to die on the hill for, and it tends to be like either conservative or liberal. So because of that, their conviction for that one topic, they kind of go along with other topics, but they're not 100% sold on them.
Maybe, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like
But
for me,
most
like
part,
for me,
they
gun
might
rights.
agree with him.
For me, gun rights, 100%. I'm 2A, like that's
Yeah.
convicted. I'm convicted towards that, right? Like that's my like. That's the hill I'll die on. Doesn't mean that I can't see the issues and the problems that we have in this country with gun violence and things like that. The way it's like portrayed in narrative, in the narrative behind it is where I have a problem with it. Behind it, you know what I mean? The narrative behind it is like that's what's fucked up, fool. You know, like that shit. I'm like,
so it says to him.
I'm like, fool, chill, fool. Like it's not even that bad, fool.
Finish that thought, though.
Anyways, you started. Don't fucking sidetrack me. So, like, because of that, I tend to hear more conservative arguments and be either more sympathetic towards them, or I'll be like, I'm not gonna fucking die on that hill. So I can empathize and sympathize with the left on how they feel about certain things, like abortion or other things. So, but there's some people that have like multiple hills they'll die on.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and which would make them staunch conservatives.
And it doesn't have to be a drink. It could be like a fucking appetizer. I don't know, just hanging out on a personal level. You get those like nuances, you know, and you really hear like why, because everybody has a reason, whether it's personal or you know whatever. But there is a deeper reason for a lot of people why they stand by whatever topic,
right?
They believe.
Yeah, it's some trauma that happened in their life.
Hearing that, it's eye opening.
Yeah.
Whether I agree with it or not.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh shit, that I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
You know, and it's eye opening to me, and it makes me educated whether I agree with it or not.
Right.
But it helps me understand,
or at least empathize.
Yeah. Definitely.
Like I get where you're coming from. Like I would if I would have with her. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You know, that's I can't argue that.
Yeah. So, yeah. Nor would I let myself be the person that would argue against something like that.
So I that's why I like talking to people, because everybody's got a different story and a different reason. But if you use propaganda, I mean, then it's
you're gonna push back.
Yeah,
for sure. You know, which is good. Is good, because I think like that those are the conversations that end up being like the better conversations.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, especially if someone's like willing to be somewhat open-minded to it.
Correct.
Like you can be like convicted in how you feel, and then just be like, well, whatever, you're not gonna change my mind. Okay, cool. Like,
and over social media, it's easy to just be like, you know what, fuck that.
Yeah.
Or you know what, I like totally agree with this meme. Yeah. But when you're in that personal setting, then you know, and it's usually somebody you know, so it's even a more it's a better environment to talk about that stuff.
I recently had a conversation, and we were kind of talking about something like this, and I was saying like, the tongue is a filter of the mind, right? And alcohol deadens the tongue. So in the sense where it's like, that's why they say drunk person's words is a sober person's thoughts. Doesn't necessarily mean that the person when they're drunk is saying what they always think when they're sober and that they're like right or rational in what they're saying. Because you can say some crazy outlandish shit when you're drunk, but it's because you're emotional and you're so like for me it goes emotions, your mind, your mouth, the world, right? So if you're emotional, your emotions make you fucking feel so crazy and makes your mind real. Then your mind tries to make sense of your emotions. And then your mind tells you like, hey, you're kind of blowing this out of proportion. You need to fucking chill, right? And then that's the first filter. The second filter is your tongue. So you say something, it enrages me. My mind says, hey, fucking chill, hear him out, fucking don't say anything fucking rude. And then your tongue holds you back even more. And you say fucking like, I don't really agree with that, but whatever, you're entitled to your opinion. Alcohol takes that second filter out. So you go, I feel a certain way. So the alcohol, you may be in a bad mood, you may be having a bad day, you may be having a bad week, you're drinking. Now the alcohol either makes you angry, frustrated, or sad. So these emotions start to build up. Then you start having these fucked up thoughts. And then you just say the fucked up thoughts. Social media takes out almost two filters. So you go from feeling to writing, and you're just putting your thoughts before you kind of like made sense of your thoughts right into text and just fucking sending it out to the fucking world. And like your closest friends, people you barely know, fucking coworkers, everybody is getting this information straight from your fucking head. And you haven't had the time to say like, would I say this in front of someone? You know what I mean? Because chances are if I were to say this in front of, I'd get slapped or I'd get my ass kicked or whatever. It's just like, but I don't give a fuck. Boom, 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 boom. And even worse, like reels and shit, it's someone else making a fucking point that you agree with. And you're like, this says it perfectly, better than I could ever say it. And then you fucking put this reel out that's like fucking anti-Semitic or whatever the fuck, and you're, or like homophobic or transphobic or whatever the fuck it is. And you're just kind of like, I like this point and they make it better than I can make it. So I'm just going to fucking send it out to the world. But it's still kind of nuanced for me. Mm-hmm. I'm still kind of like dealing with how I feel about the whole situation. Yeah. And then you fucking alienate half of your fucking following or whoever the fuck, you know what I mean? Or even if it's like 5 or 6 people, but 5 or 6 people that you may really know really close and like are cool with. Mm-hmm. And you just fuck that all up because you had like your thumbs don't have that fucking filter. Yeah. It's fucking crazy. And it's like, I wish like podcast, like that's one of the reasons I do the podcast is just because it's like, it's a form of therapy in a sense where we can actually talk about shit. And it's like, talk shit through. Yeah. And it's like, all right, cool. At least I know my friends are not fucking who they are on social media. Yeah. You know what I mean? For the most part, and I've noticed that my friends that I keep like closest to me, the people who are the coolest, they don't really post shit on social media. They're not like constantly fucking like feeding the algorithm. They're just fucking like, oh, this was kind of cool. Yeah. Did this with my kids, or this was kind of dope, or I'm going to this concert, or oh, I'm excited about this. And it's fucking like refreshing to see that shit, but it's so fucking few and far between in the fucking litany of bullshit that's on my fucking feed that it sucks. It's depressing really when you like look at it in that sense. Where you're just like,
so basically you're telling me I need to resend shit on Instagram.
I like it. Something gets my fucking blood boiling. But and that's funny. I'm like, every time you send something, I'm like, I wonder if he's sitting back like giggling, like like a lot of and I was like, I wonder how he's gonna respond to this.
Like that's the cool thing about like the groups, all the groups you're in. Yeah, like, I'll read shit. I'll read send shit or what is it? Yeah, it's not retweet.
Repost.
Yeah, repost. Uh-huh. Repost shit. That is like not really what I'm into, but it's I want a reaction. I'm looking for a reaction from somebody.
Yeah. I mean that's fun. It's like the post and ghost kind of thing, where you just fucking. But yeah, everything you post, and I'm like, I wonder if I'm gonna give him what the reaction he's looking for right now. You know what I mean? It's kind of fun for me too, because I know that for the most part, I know that you don't mean anything by it.
Correct.
Yeah. You're like this fucker's like trying to like. He's trolling right now, right? Yeah. So I'm like, let me see if I can either play into the troll or not play into the troll. And then when the troll turns into a debate, I'm just kind of like, wait, what the fuck are we doing here? I was like, what are we doing here? I was like, you were trolling, I was trolling back. Now we're actually kind of getting into like conversation, and then like now I'm like actually having to like get into like the philosophy or the ideology that I have on this specific topic. And I was like, and I'm sure he kind of like will see my point. I was like, but now we're just kind of like going and I'm like, fuck this. And I was like, you know what he's doing? He's doing the same shit that Brantley does. I was like, and I'm not gonna no, I'm not doing it. I'm not falling for it. We gotta reset the shutters. We'll be right back. Hopefully it's all recorded. And